Hey, what up everybody, this is Stevie Breach coming to you. The big Night of Champions match with Brock Lesnar is coming up sooner than later with John Cena at Night of Champions. And a lot of people thinking that Brock Lesnar, after winning the championship at SummerSlam, would be the lock and anchor of the WWE with the WWE Network, basically being the only way you can see Brock Lesnar defend his championship. Seeing how he never wrestles on Monday Night Raw like a John Cena or any other WWE champion would, having sporadic matches here and there. The championship itself very rarely changes hands on a Monday Night Raw show. You can think of like The Miz cashing in or any other cash-ins along the way that happened on Monday Night Raw, trying to really like spark up the business. But I don't really see them doing that with Brock Lesnar. I am in this small group of people who think that John Cena is going to defeat Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. It's not that I don't think the WWE doesn't want to go forward with not having a champion on Monday Night Raw and not having a champion on house shows. I just think that the way that they're portraying this match is they're making John Cena look like this ultimate underdog, that I've never seen them put him in this corner before. And for them basically to say that there's no shot in hell that John Cena is going to win this match, what's the point of having John Cena be John Cena if he's not going to, muscle up, become Super Cena one more time, and win the big one for WWE and bring the belt back home? I know that a lot of people are thinking that Brock's going to hold this title and get all the way to WrestleMania. And I know there's some stories out there about Brock Lesnar restructuring his contract, basically becoming a contracted employee that, it's a flat rate. If you want to put him on Raw, you can put him on Raw and you're going to charge him this month. You can show up on the pay-per-view and we'll charge him this month. It wasn't like the date that the deal that they signed back at WrestleMania 28, where basically it was, we're going to pay you this much money a year and you're going to work this many dates for us, and that's it. We can't use you any more than what it is. I think Lesnar saw being champion as a way to score some extra money. They're not going to want to spend that money all the time, so maybe basically being on Monday Night Raw every once in a while will be able to spark interest to keep this title reign going a little bit longer. I think that what doesn't make sense about doing this so long is I don't know who there is out there to basically fight Brock Lesnar at pay-per-view matches. Basically, we've already done John Cena 1. We've done John Cena 2 at Night of Champions. What would you do at Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, TLC, and, the rest of the way? I think there's only a handful of people. Actually, I only think there's 4 people that Brock Lesnar could have a match with at WrestleMania to have the star value of being the main event. I think that it's going to be John Cena. I think it's going to be The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. Of course, going with first the John Cena one, I think it's right now, honestly, the most unlikely choice, just because we've seen John Cena fight Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam and at Night of Champions. If he does kill John Cena at Night of Champions, basically that is a September pay-per-views to October, November, December, January, February, and March. That's 6 months you would think of, basically for John Cena to re-heal up and get back. But if he's going to get the title shot at Brock Lesnar, he'd have to be ready for the Royal Rumble. So that means you basically have to bring this guy back in 3 months and then have the 3-month feud with Lesnar once again, able to hype up the fact that, John Cena won the Rumble, he is the #1 contender, and he is going to be fighting for the championship against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. I think it's just, they try to keep guys away from each other in order to make the WrestleMania match really mean something, and I think that these matches against John Cena is a way of being able to scratch him off the list. Next name on the list would be The Undertaker. Of course, everybody knows about WrestleMania 30. Brock Lesnar ended the streak, and maybe Undertaker would want to come back to WrestleMania 31 in order not to really to take the championship off of Brock Lesnar, but just trying to right the wrong that Brock Lesnar did him by beating him at WrestleMania 30. Maybe he would just want to end his career on an era of basically beating the guy who beat him as a way of a rematch. I know you can't bring the streak back. Maybe you can retire and be like, well, he's 1-0. And there will be people who do say stupid things like that. But I think, honestly, when it comes to Undertaker and WrestleMania, when the streak dies, Undertaker dies. I don't think we're ever going to see him again unless it's a sporadic Monday Night Raw appearance. Trying to, bring him back for something, not even like really a match, but just a moment. But I think his wrestling days in the ring are done. I think that, he's done things on the internet, basically I don't think there was a whole bunch of kayfabe involved around The Undertaker. I was fine with people posting, sporadic pictures with Taker, thinking back to, when he was at the Nashville Hockey Predators game, and there was all those pictures that came out of Undertaker, and that's fine, because you see Undertaker pictures with fans, from WWE Access and all sorts of things like that, but him doing something like the Ice Bucket Challenge, to me, was just a little bit non-Undertaker-ish. I'm sure Undertaker does a lot of things for charity, but I don't think he did a lot of things on camera. And to me, that was just the way of finally saying, okay, Undertaker really is done. The next two names are the biggest names that it's 50-50 on. Some people are saying that these are the names that Triple H and Vince McMahon are fighting back and forth against. Basically, we have The Rock and Roman Reigns. We have the future and we have the past. The Rock, it's hard to say because of how much a Hulk Hogan fan I am. But basically, I think The Rock is one of the biggest names WWE has ever created. Of course, if there is a Mount Rushmore, you're going to have Hogan, you're going to have Austin, and you're going to have The Rock up on there. Those are the three biggest names. But, with Rock leaving wrestling, going to Hollywood, and just, pumping out major, action movies after action movies after action movies, last year they said that he brought in more money to Hollywood than any other actor out there, with big movies like Fast 6, and I can't remember what other movies came out, but, he is a big star, and his name probably brings more to anything else. I think if, you went to an ad agency and you said that, you wanted to book commercials, and you had the three names, Rock, Austin, and Hogan, I think that when they signed on the dotted line, I think Rock's going to get more money than anybody else. Vince wants to go with The Rock. Basically, I think maybe to relive the past. SummerSlam 2002 was a big moment in the past, and maybe he feels like he owes it to The Rock in order to get that win back over Brock Lesnar. I don't think The Rock really cares that much. I think if Rock is going to show up, he does want to wrestle, he does want to entertain, and I think most of all he wants to get paid at the end of the day. Roman Reigns would be the argument for Triple H. It would be sort of like a stamp on the Performance Center. It would sort of be like, see, the one thing that Triple H took over when he moved into management in WWE was, the seeing of the minor leagues, trying to find out how they were going to be finding the next big star. Basically, he noticed that Vince McMahon had basically killed off all of the organizations around them, and if they were going to pick somebody from TNA, that was highly unlikely. There was independent groups out there like Ring of Honor and Dragon Gate and things like that. But basically, how are you going to get those people to basically wrestle the WWE style? So he went out and he started signing these guys. Now he's got this big, huge performance warehouse where they've got 10 wrestling rings, and they have weights to work out on. They have people that work with them on their promos, and it's just basically like a college for pro wrestling. And I think that they spent a lot of money on that, and right now they're at this spot where they're huge into cutbacks. And I think the Performance Center is one of the things that's really not going to get cut back because of how new it is, and basically how they think that's where the future is really going to come from. We have to see, who's going to come out of there. But as of right now, you've got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, you've got Dean Ambrose, all the guys in the Shield. They really put over the Performance Center. And, Seth Rollins really didn't. He sort of buried it along the way, saying that he was like the best guy they had, and there wasn't anything for them to really teach him. But then again, Batista said the same thing about working with Jim Cornette. And he didn't think that he really needed or learned anything about wrestling when he was there. He just learned how to basically be hazed and, just bullshitted with pretty much. Honestly, if you had to put the gun to my head right now and tell me, who I think it's going to be, honestly, I don't think he's ready, but I think it's going to be Roman Reigns. I think the scheduling is going to be a little bit weird with The Rock. The Rock has this movie Fast 7, which was supposed to debut, but due to the death of one of the actors in the film, basically had to be pushed back so they can work around what they were going to be doing with what the situation is. I think that's what everybody's really waiting on Fast 7 for, is just to see how they're going to deal with the absence of one of the stars, how they're going to be able to do it. I know that, if you go back and you watch The Sopranos, they did a scene where Tony sort of made up with his mom, and his mom had really been dead, and they did the whole thing through computer-generated things and stuff like that. So who knows what they're going to do with Paul Walker. There's some people who want to see him die in a sort of like a car crash that goes along with the movie, and there's a lot of people who think that that'd be highly untasteful, and you don't want to portray his death in real life into the movie. But then again, I don't think anybody thinks they're stopping with these movies at Fast 7. I think there's going to be Fast 8, 9, 15, and 16. I don't know. They've gone a lot further than I think they have, and each one, the movie series sort of gets bigger and bigger. There was a lot of people who thought that it should have died out after they did Tokyo Drift, and they were able to revive it, and nobody thought they would be adding stars like Jason Statham and The Rock and everybody like that. It's crazy how much this is built into. But with what was it? Fast 7 opens April 3rd. WrestleMania 31 is March 29th. I know that G.I. Joe 2 opened up close around where WrestleMania 29 was, but I don't think it was this close. I think it was actually after the fact. But the Rock is gonna want to go out, and he's gonna want to promote the fact of WrestleMania coming up around the corner. I know a lot of people thought when they did for WrestleMania 29, the reason why they put the belt on the Rock was he would go on Jay Leno, he would go on whoever else is out there, Conan O'Brien, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, all those shows, and he would be showing off the WWE Championship, and he never brought it with him. He never brought it out. But that the movie studio is definitely going to be wanting him out there promoting Fast 7. I think that's going to be his first priority. That over WrestleMania. So that's the one reason why I'm going to cross The Rock out. I think we were very lucky to get The Rock at the Hall of Fame. We were very lucky to get The Rock to make an appearance at WrestleMania 30. Maybe he does something in order to co-promote his movie, but I don't see him wrestling. So as of right now, I'm picking Roman Reigns to fight against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31.